Hey everyone, and welcome. So, you're studying here in the UK, and you've got that entrepreneurial spark, that dream of launching your own startup. If that's you, then you've landed in exactly the right spot. Today, we're going to cut through all the confusing jargon around post-study visas and give you a super clear roadmap to go from student to founder. You ready? Let's jump in. So you spent years here hitting the books, you've learned a ton, and now, bam, you've got this amazing business idea. But here's the million-dollar question, right? Once you've thrown that graduation cap in the air, how do you legally stay in the country and actually build your company? It feels like a huge hurdle, but trust me, there's a clear set of paths you can take. Okay, before we get carried away dreaming about the future, we have to talk about right now. Because there is one golden rule you absolutely, positively must follow while you are still on that student visa. The Home Office could not be more clear about this. You are forbidden from engaging in business activity. And what does that mean? It means no trading, no buying something to sell it for a profit, and yep, that even includes things like running an Etsy shop or doing online dropshipping. Breaking this rule is serious, and it can put your entire future in the UK at risk. So just don't. But here's the good news. While you can't be trading, you can be preparing. This is your time to build the launchpad for your business. You can be drafting that killer business plan, doing all your market research, linking up with your university's startup incubator, and even starting the conversation to get an endorsement for a future visa. Use this time to get everything perfectly lined up. All right, let's fast forward. Graduation day is here. You've done all your prep work, and now you are standing at a crossroads. When it comes to staying in the UK to launch your business, you've basically got three very different paths you can choose from. Let's break these down with a little car analogy, because it actually makes perfect sense. Think of the Innovator Founder visa as a supercar. It's the absolute fastest way to settlement, just 3 years, but it's super demanding and high performance. Then you've got the graduate visa. That's your test drive. You get 2 years to take the idea for a spin, but that time doesn't count towards your final destination. And last, there's the skilled worker route, your reliable sedan. It's a stable, predictable 5-year journey that works for almost any kind of business. So let's start with that flashy supercar, the Innovator Founder visa. This is the one that gets all the headlines, and you can see why. That 3-year path to settling in the UK for good is incredibly tempting. And this quote right here, it just nails it. To even get this visa, your business idea has to be endorsed as innovative, viable, and scalable. This isn't for opening a nice little coffee shop. They are looking for the next big thing, something with genuine, massive growth potential. And to get that permanent residency after 3 years, your business has to hit at least 2 of these 7 milestones. And while they are tough, we're talking £1 million in revenue or creating 10 full-time jobs. For a lot of tech startups, the most common strategy is to combine number 1, investing £50,000, with number 7, securing some significant intellectual property, like a patent. Okay, so maybe that supercar feels a little too fast, a little too risky for you. No problem at all. Let's switch gears and talk about the safer, more predictable options, that test drive and the reliable sedan. You know, the graduate visa is such a brilliant strategic tool. It gives you a 2-year runway, or 3 if you did a PhD, where you can be self-employed and actually test your business in the real world. You can get customers, you can prove your idea works, all without the crazy pressure of hitting those settlement targets. The whole point is to use this time to get ready. And then before it runs out, you switch to a long-term visa with confidence. Now, you might have heard this phrase self-sponsorship getting thrown around, and it causes a lot of confusion. So let's be super clear. This is not an official visa you can apply for. Think of it more as a clever legal strategy, a technique that lets you use the skilled worker route or reliable sedan for your very own company. It's really a 2-step dance. First, your UK company, the one you own, applies to the Home Office to get a sponsor license. Simple enough. Once that's approved, your company can then turn around and officially sponsor you as an employee, usually as the company director. It's stable, it's predictable, and it gets you to settlement in 5 years. So, what's the catch? Because there's always a catch, right? Well, it's mainly financial. The single biggest hurdle is this number. Your brand new company has to be able to pay you a salary of at least £33,400 a year. That means having funding or getting some early revenue is absolutely key. All right, so we've worked our way through the immigration rules. now let's switch gears and talk business strategy. Because it doesn't matter which visa path you choose, starting smart is everything. This slide just illustrates the lean startup idea perfectly. Imagine your dream is to open a cafe. The all-in cost could be well over £140,000. That is a huge financial risk. But what if you started with a market stall instead? You could test the very same concept, the same coffee, the same cakes, for maybe 20 quid a day. You find out what people actually want, you build a following, and then you commit to the massive cost of a full cafe. Start small, prove the idea, then scale up. And finally, let's cover this last crucial piece of the puzzle, how to avoid the simple, common mistakes that can completely sink your new business before it even gets a chance to swim. Let's use a really common example, something loads of people try when they're starting out, an online jewelry shop. It sounds straightforward, but there are some hidden legal traps that so many new founders just fall right into. Okay, 3 things to watch out for. First, hallmarking. If you sell a piece of jewelry over a certain weight and you describe it as gold or silver without getting an official UK hallmark, that's actually a criminal offense. Second, safety. If you import jewelry, you are legally on the hook for making sure it doesn't have unsafe levels of metals like nickel or lead. And third, consumer rights. Your customers have a legal right to return online orders within 14 days for a full refund. You can't just write a no returns policy. The law overrides it. Knowing this stuff from day one is so important. So that brings us right back to the big question. And this one is all for you. Which path is right for your ambition, your idea, and your personal tolerance for risk? Are you building a high-growth supercar that needs the speed of the innovator route? Or do you want to take your idea for a test drive first with the graduate visa? Or maybe you need the stability of that reliable sedan for a steady 5-year journey. Only you can answer that. But if you think through those 3 things, ambition, idea, and risk, you'll find the perfect path for you.